Ma, any mail? She said yes. I said, any letters? She said yes. Now I knew that she'd already gone through my mail. As long as you lived in the same apartment with your mother or father or anybody, it was perfectly acceptable that they would read your mail.
Yes, that's right.
Not anymore.
There was no such thing as privacy. I remember as a 6-year-old child, I'm sitting on the toilet watching my older brother, who was probably 18, that he was shaving and I was sitting on the toilet. That was life. And I said, any mail for me? She said, are you expecting anything? Always with a question. I said, I guess not. She said, yes, there's a letter from you from the Board of Education. I said, is it a thick letter or a thin letter? Because it had it been a thin letter, it would say, we regret to inform you. She said, no, it's a very, very thick letter. I said, anything important that how would I know? Of course I knew that she knew. So I came home and there I had received a letter from the Board of Education saying, you have been assigned to teach at the Brooklyn Technical High School. I said, wow, that is something, Brooklyn Tech. That was a pretty popular school. Very, Linda, right? Where's Linda Schreiber, right? I said, oh, fine, that sounds very nice. And 2 days later, a letter came saying, correction. You have been assigned to Metropolitan Vocational High School. Now, in 1950 or 49, the vocational high schools had a reputation. You know what? I don't have to go into those ugly details, founded or unfounded. So I said, how can I go to Brooklyn? How can I go to... And of course, she said exactly what you said. On Monday, your brother Jerome will pick you up. On Tuesday, your brother Moy will pick you up. Because I knew I would get there early to avoid any confrontation. But at 3 o'clock, I was vulnerable. She said, and on Wednesday, your sister Alice will pick you up. And on Thursday, your brother Irvin will pick you up. I said, and what's going to happen on Friday? I said, oh, by Friday you'll be fine. So I went to Metropolitan Vocational High School, which at that time, and maybe for years before that, they had several annexes. One annex was the John W. Brown, a boat or a ship, I don't know which is which. A ship in the river for students to learn how to do maritime work. And they had all kinds of annexes, you know. There was a barber shop, there was a very, very fine photography department, etc., etc. And then I knew that there was a place up in 46th Street, but I made as if I didn't know, all right? So I came to Metropolitan Vocational High School, and at the end of the semester, Dr. Keller called me to the office, and he said, Miss Katz, I'm thinking of transferring you to Performing Arts High School. And I said to myself, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Serendipity, no, not pop. So I said, oh, that could be very nice. I was going to be very cool about that. I didn't want to overwhelm him with my enthusiasm. And that's how I came to Metropolitan to Performing Arts. And that was in February 1950. And the moment I came into that school, now I'll tell you about life at Performing Arts. Well, let's see, with whom to... First, is Claudette Manchester here? Claudette sat on my lap one day and she said, it was a Christmas party. She sits on the lap and she said to me, who dyes your hair? It was kind of dark, remember?
Yeah.
Who dyes your hair? I said, what are you talking about? I said, I dye my own hair. Now, and then of course there was our dear Dominic DeLuise.
Oh yeah.
Dominic Louise always came late to class, and he came in with a flower from Leon Dorfman's biology class. Remember Leon Dorfman? Hoffman. That may have been before your time at Peter, right? And he'd come in and he'd give me the flour to placate me. All right. And then he'd sit down, and one day, Dominic DeLuise raises his hand in great excitement. He has a question. I said, oh, believe it, Dominic has a question. That's wonderful. And I say, Dominic, what is it? He said, Miss Katz, when will I need this in my future life? So I stood there with tremendous arrogance, and I said, Dominic, this is your future life. You're going to be here forever. And then,
Got his first one.
remember Ellen Petersilly, class of 56? Ellen Petersilly once said to me, why do you keep walking up this aisle to check out homework? Why don't you check the homework on the other side of it? The truth was, I couldn't get through on the other side. So, but it's interesting how observant she was. That her homework, she was always, her homework was always checked. And if you remember correctly, if a student, if you did not do your homework, all I want you to do is, on a piece of paper, have your parents sign it. That's all. So it kind of works somewhat. Yeah. Now, do you remember Carlos Gobea? How many remember Carlos? One day I was checking homework and Carlos did not have his homework. So I said to Carlos, He said that I went to the opera. I was at the opera last night. I said, oh, isn't that wonderful? I was going to have a real fun. Now, you remember the Herald Tribune had a green section for arts, and like the arts section in the New York Times. So I went to my locker, took out the Herald Tribune, and opened it up, and I said, oh, Carlos, isn't that wonderful? Where shall we go tonight? I said, where shall we have dinner? And then from the theater or opera, what is your pleasure? And this poor Carlos, if he could get any smaller, he would disappear into the crack. But I said, oh, don't you think 3 days later onto the opera, and it was Cavalier Rusticana, and there's a scene on Easter Sunday where they're coming out of the church, and who do you think is one of the altar boys? Carlos Gobea. Yeah. Now, I think it's important that you get a little history. It was 1951 or 52, at the height of the McCarthy period. There was a concert given by the music department, and I think they played something with, I think with Shostakovich. And after that concert, a member of the faculty got up and attacked the music department for playing music. It was ugly. It was ugly. Most of us didn't understand what was going on, but I was aware. It was terrible. And not only was it terrible, but just shortly thereafter, there was a faculty member at the main building who had received a Ford Foundation to teach executives how to speak properly. And then a letter went to the Board of Education anonymously saying, now that, oh, I'll give you the names, they're all dead. Now that Harold Blau has received the Ford Foundation, so-and-so at the music department has become the political commissar of the Communist Party. Anonymous letter. And the music department, the faculty I mean, the music department was summoned to Superintendent Jansen's office. It was terrible. Nobody knew who had written the letter. You suspected everybody. It was a terrible period. We never found out who wrote the letter. but it split the faculty down into not sides, but into little pieces. It was a terrible, terrible period. So that I think it's important that you know what the McCarthy period did to some of us at school. Yes, and so that, but of course the nice things that happened was to see. Did I tell you about Murray Pariah? Ever tell that story about Murray Pariah? You ready? Yes. You know anybody here who knows who Murray Pariah is? Oh, I got nervous all of a sudden. Yes, Murray Pariah. Top pianist of the world, lives in England now. He even called me on my birthday. But this little boy, and I say this little boy, I can hold him in my arms this way. His feet. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that what you were telling me? I was telling you. I'm not in showbiz, what do I know? This little boy sat in the first row with the biggest, blackest eyes. I thought I had black eyes. No, not compared to his. Big black eyes. And he sat there and he did very well in math.
Wow.
And one day, open school night came, and somebody comes in, and I see it's a gentleman, and I ask him who he is. He tells me he's Mr. Pariah, and I said, and he looked distracted. Somehow he was uncomfortable. And I said, Mr. Pariah, is there something wrong? He said, he didn't say anything. And I said, because your son does beautiful work. Very good in math. And his father said to me, those people upstairs, the music department said, I have to change the teacher. I cannot afford how much the new teacher is. I said, Mr. Pariah, you will find the money, you will have Murray with a different teacher, and I'll look forward to his debut at Carnegie Hall. And so that was the Murray Pariah story, and I'm a groupie of his. Wherever he performs, I go. So, and there was Gerard Schwartz and Elliot Feld. They were outstanding people. They not only were outstanding in their field, they were outstanding students. So on that wonderful note, I want to thank you for coming. And anybody have any questions?
I don't know how to. Does anybody know how to?
And don't anybody leave without saying hello.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Shirley. Happy birthday to you.
Pray for health, happiness you don't need, but health and peace.
Yeah.